Hello everyone, we're doing a worksheet on coordinate geometry. This worksheet contains almost all the questions from past papers from 2019 backwards towards 2010, I suppose. Yes, alright. So let's start with question number 1, which says find the equation of line passing through the coordinates 5, 9 and minus 3, 13. So we need equation of line, which means we need it in the form y equals mx plus c. We first need the slope, which can be found using the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 13 minus 9 over minus 3 minus 5. So this gives us 4 in the numerator and minus 8 in the denominator, so this gives us minus half. So m is minus half. Slope came out to be minus half, so the equation is y equals minus half x plus c. Now to find value of c, either use this combination of x, y or this. I'll use the first one. So 9 equals minus half 5 plus c. This becomes minus 2.5. Take it to the other side, it gets added to 9, which becomes 11.5 equals c. So in the end, the equation becomes y equals mx plus c, where m is minus 0.5 or minus half and c is 11.5. Okay, question number 2. Point A has coordinate minus 4, 6 and B has coordinate 7, minus 2. Calculate the length of line AB. AB equals y2 minus y1 whole square plus x2 minus x1 whole square. This is the formula for length of a line. So 6 minus minus 2 will make plus 2 whole square plus minus 4 minus 7 whole square. So this becomes 8 whole square, 64 plus 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 whole square is 121. So this becomes under root 5, 8, 185. So under root 185 is 13.6 when rounded off to 3 significant figures. So 13.6. Question 3. A is 7, 12. B is 2, minus 1. Find the length of AB again. So we'll use the same formula, y2 minus y1 whole square plus x2 minus x1 whole square. This becomes minus 13 whole square plus minus 5 whole square. So 13 whole square is 169 and 5 whole square is 25. Ignore the negative signs. This becomes 4, 1 carry 6, 7, 8, 9, 194. Under root 194 is 13.9 when rounded off to 3 significant figures. Question 4. The line AB and CD intersect at B. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of AB. So we know A is a point 0, 4 from the figure and B is a point 5, 3. To find midpoint, we use the formula x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So we'll do 0 plus 5 over 2, 4 plus 3 over 2. Which becomes 2.5, comma, I've taken wrong points for A, so I'll have to fix this correct question. So the formula will stay the same. Points for B are correct, 5, 3, and points for A is 7, 0. So A is 7, 0. Yes, A is 7, 0. Now add the x and divide it with 2. Then add both the y's and divide it with 2. So we get 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 over 2 is 6, and then comma 1.5. These are the coordinates of midpoint for question 4, part A. Part B, find the equation of line CB. Now C has coordinates 0, 4, and B has coordinates 5, 3. We need the equation y equals mx plus c. We already have c from here. C is 4, so this becomes y equals mx plus 4. Now we can find m using y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which becomes minus 1 over 5. So the equation becomes y equals mx plus c. C is where the graph cuts the y-axis. So this graph is cutting the y-axis at 4. Okay. Question 5, which is A is 0.5, 23, B is point minus 2, 2. Find the coordinates of midpoint of AB. So simply add both the x, divide it with 2, then add both the y's and divide it with 2. So we get 3 over 2 is 1.5 and 25 over 2 is 12.5. So this is the midpoint answer for A. Question 5, and then question 5, part B is find the equation of line AB. So again A Okay, so for part B we need the equation of AB. So equation of AB is found by using this general formula y equals mx plus c, where m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So double minus will become plus. So this becomes 21 over 7, which becomes 3. So y equals 3x plus c. To find the value of c, either substitute this or this in the equation. So I'll be substituting the lower one. 2 equals minus 6 plus c, c equals 8. So this becomes y equals 3x plus 8. This is part B of question 5. Okay, next up let me quickly write the answer for part B. I'll be using that in part C. Okay, part C says show that the point 3, 17 lie on the line AB, that it lies on this line. So simply substitute these values in the given equation. If left hand side equals right hand side, then that means the point lies on this line. So yes, we've shown 9 plus 8 is 17. So this point lies on the given line. Okay. Question 6. Is points A and B have coordinates 3, 2 and 5, 6. Part A, find the midpoint of line is B is the midpoint of AC. So B is the midpoint of A and C has another point. AC is another point x, y. Now B is in the center of A and B, A and C. Find the coordinates of C. Alright, so A is 3, 2, B is 5, 6, and C is x, y. Now we'll apply the midpoint formula on these two. So 3 plus x over 2, 2 plus y over 2 should be equals to 5, 6. So 3 plus x over 2 equals 5, which makes x 10 minus 3, 7. And here as well 2 plus y over 2 equals 5, which makes y equals 8. No, sorry, 2 plus y over 2 equals 6, which makes 12, and which makes 12 minus 2, 10. 6b, which says find the equation of straight line which passes through A and B. So A is 3, 2 and B is 5, 6. So we need y equals mx plus c. M is 6 minus 2 over 5 minus 3. which is 4 over 2, which makes 2. So y equals 2x plus c. Now to find c, let's substitute this one. 2 equals 2 times 3 plus c. C equals minus 4. So the equation becomes y equals 2x minus 4. Okay, so this is answer for part B. Part C, a straight line. Let me write the answer for part B first. Y equals 2x minus 4. Okay. Part C, the straight line passes through A and B, cuts the y-axis at D. Now this line, it's the same line as part B. So this straight line passes through A and B and cuts y-axis at D. So if a line is cutting the y-axis at any point, that means its x coordinate is 0. So its coordinates are 0 comma let's say y. So find the coordinates of D. Let's substitute these values here. So y equals 2 times 0 minus 4. So D becomes 0 comma minus 4 because C is equals to minus 4. So these are the coordinates for D. Question number 7. Find the midpoint of AB where A is WR and B is 3W comma T. Give your answer in simplest form in terms of WRT. So simply add the x coordinates divided with 2 comma add the y coordinates divided with 2. So we get 4W over 2 is 2W comma R plus T over 2. Answer for part 7. Question number 8. A line has gradient 5, so m equals 5. M and n are 2 points on this line. M has coordinate x comma 8 and n has coordinate 2 comma 23. Find an expression for x in terms of k. So we have equation of straight line, which is we have the formula for slope. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this becomes 5 equals 15 over k minus x, which becomes k minus x equals 3. So we have to write make x the subject, so k minus 3 is the answer equals to x. Question 9. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of the line joining these two. So we've done midpoint multiples of times. So add the x coordinates, divide with 2 comma add the y coordinates divided by 2. So this becomes minus 10 over 2 and this becomes 0 over 2. So we get minus 5 comma 0 9a. For part B, we have the line y is equals to 4x plus c passes through 2 comma 6. Passes through 2 comma 6. Find the value of c. So we have this equation. Simply substitute these points here. 6 instead of x, 2 instead of, or 6 instead of y, 2 instead of x plus c. So c becomes minus 2. So we were supposed to find c and we found c. Okay. Part C, let me change the marker. Part C is the line 5x, these two lines are parallel, find the value of k. Now remember, if two lines are parallel, then their slopes are equal. So we need to figure out the slope of this and the slope of this and then equate them. So to find slope, first you're supposed to make x the subject. So in this one, I'll take 10 to the other side and then I'll divide 4 with both of these separately. Keep this in mind. So I've made y the subject. So the slope equation of straight line is y equals mx plus c. So m is the coefficient of x. So m here is 5 over 4. Similarly, in this equation, when we make y the subject, we get k over 2x minus 2. So now m is k over 2, and we know for parallel lines m1 equals m2, so k by 2 equals 5 by 4, so k equals 5 by 2, which is the answer, 2.5 or 2.5. Question number 10. Work out the gradient of line L. So gradient is rise over run, so let's take the rise from here and look for a run that has an integer value, this one. So if I consider this triangle, my rise is 1 unit, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units is the rise. Run is 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. So slope will be simply 8 by 4, which is 2, and it's a rising line, so the sign will be positive. If it were a falling line, the sign would have been negative. Okay. Part B. Write down the equation of line parallel to this line, so that line will also have the same slope, because when two lines are parallel, their slopes are the same, and passing through 0, 6, so this here is giving you the value of c. So y equals 2x plus c is the equation of the line that is parallel to the first line and which passes through point 0, 6. Okay. Question 11, which is part A. Find the coordinates of the point where this line crosses the x-axis. Now when the line, and it's pretty obvious, this line's c or y-intercept is minus 8, and so this point will be 0, minus 8, which is the answer. No working is required. Okay, part B is write down the gradient of this line. Gradient is y equals mx plus c, so m is the coefficient of x, which is 3. So this is the answer. Question number 12. A point A is 2, 3, B is 7, minus 5. Find the coordinates of midpoint of this, so that would simply be 2 plus 7 is 9, 9 over 2, 3 minus 5 is minus 2 over 2. So we get 4.5, minus 1 for part A. Part B, find the equation of line through A. So we need to find equation of line which passes through A and is perpendicular to AB. So perpendicular slopes, let's revise. If two slopes are parallel, then m1, if two lines are parallel, then their slopes will be equal. If two lines are perpendicular, then their slopes product will be equals to minus 1. So we'll be using this second formula, keep this in mind. So there's a line that passes through 2, 3, and it is perpendicular to the line AB. So first I'll find slope of line AB, that will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this gives me 5, 6, minus 8 over 5, right? So now the slope of the perpendicular line will be either use this formula, multiply the 2 and make minus 1 the sub equals to minus 1, and then cross multiply, or you can use a shorter method, that is take negative reciprocal of this to get the perpendicular slope. So its sign is negative, flip the sign and take reciprocal. Negative reciprocal means flip the sign and flip the fraction. So 5 over 8 is the slope of the perpendicular line. So y equals 5 over 8x plus c. Now to find c, remember this line also passes through point A, which is 2, 3. So y is 3, 5 over 8 times 2 plus c. So this becomes 3 minus 5 over 4. 3 minus 5 over 4 is 1.75, which is I guess 7 by 4. Yes. So I will, C is 1.75, so in the end I will get y equals 5 over x, 5 over 8 x plus 1.75. This is the answer for question 12 and part B, and also this, it's the same as this. And it's better if you're writing 5 by 8, you write 7 by 4 here instead of 1.75. Okay, question 13 is line L passes through 0 comma minus 3 and 6 comma 9. Find the equation of line L. So L would, the equation would be y equals mx plus c. C is very obvious from here. C is where the graph cuts the y-axis, so that's at minus 3. So C is minus 3, y equals mx minus 3. Now we need to find the slope, which is y2 minus y1. So y2 minus minus 3 becomes plus 9, minus minus 3 becomes 9 plus 3 over 6 minus 0. So we get 12 over 6, which is 2. So y equals 2x plus c plus c was minus 3. So y equals 2x minus 3 is the answer for 13 part A. Okay. 13b is find the equation of line that is perpendicular to L and passes through the point 0 comma 2. So L's equation was y equals 2x minus 3. Its slope is 2. So slope of L is 2, then a perpendicular slope will be, flip the sign and take reciprocal. This is 2 over 1, we'll write 1 over 2. So y equals minus half x plus c, and it also, we're given that it also passes through the point 0 comma 2, so we have our c right here. C is 2. So y equals minus half x plus 2. Question 14. Point A has coordinates 1, 0, point B has coordinates 2, 5. Calculate the angle between the line AB and the x-axis. Alright, so let's just roughly plot these points. One point is 1, 0, so here is A at 1, and the other point is 2, 5. So 2 is somewhere over here, and let's say 5 is over here. 2, 5. So this is 2 and this is 5. So we need the angle between the x-axis and this between x-axis and this line passing through A and B. So what's the, we'll use tan theta, and we know this length. We're starting from 0 to 5, this is 5, and starting from 1 till 2, this is 1 unit. So now that's why I'm using tan theta. Tan theta is equals to perpendicular over base, so theta will be tan inverse 5, which gives us 78.69. So the rounded off answer is 78.7. Okay. Part B, so we're on 14b. Okay. The line PQ has equation this, and point P has coordinates this. Find the equation of line which passes through P and is perpendicular to PQ. So the slope of this line is 3. Then a perpendicular slope will be negative reciprocal, so minus 1 over 3, because right now it's 3 over 1. Alright, so the equation will be y is equals to my mx plus c. Now to find c, we also know that this line passes through point P, which is 6, 10. So substitute 6, 10 here. 10 equals minus 1 over 3, 6 plus c. 6 over 3 becomes minus 2, and 10 plus 2 is 12. So c becomes 12. So our equation becomes y equals minus 1 over 3x plus 12. This is answer for 14b. Question 15. Find the equation of line L. So the equation is y equals mx plus c, and we can tell from the figure that c is where the line cuts the y-axis, and that's 3 here. So y equals mx plus 3. Next, I need the slope. So slope is rise over run. So I would like integer values for rise and integer values of run. So I can take this rise and this run. So the rise is 6 units up and the run is 3 units, right? So m will be 6 over 3, but with a negative sign, because remember, when it's a falling line the slope is negative, when it's a rising line the slope is positive. Alright, so the slope is minus 2, and the equation becomes y equals minus 2x, and c was minus plus 3. So y equals minus 2x plus 3 for part A. Now we're doing 15b here. A line perpendicular to the line L passes through 3 comma minus 1. Find the equation of this line. So we know the slope of line, the previous line was line L, was minus 2. So the perpendicular slope will be negative reciprocal. So this is minus 2 over 1, that will become 1 over 2. So the equation is y is equals to half x plus c. To find c, we need a point that passes through this line, and that point is 3 comma minus 1. Substitute these values and you would get c equals minus 2.5. So this is the final equation. Y equals half x minus 5 over 2, or minus 2.5. Question number 16. A line joins point A 3 comma 8 and B 2 comma 2. Part A, find the coordinate of midpoint. So add the x values 3 plus 2, 5, divide by 2. Add the y values 8 plus 2, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we get 2.5 comma 5. I'm not going to go into details. Part B, find the equation of line which passes through AB. So for part B, I need the form y equals mx plus c. So y equals, to find m, I need to use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this gives me minus 6 over minus 1, which gives 6. So y equals 6x plus c. Now I need to find c, so I'll either use 2 comma 2 or 3 comma 8. Let's use 2 comma 2. So 2 equals 12 plus c, c equals minus 10. So I get y equals 6x minus 10 as my final answer for part B. Part C, another line is parallel to AB and passes through 0 comma 7. Write the equation for this line. So when lines are parallel, their slopes are the same, and since it's passing through 0 comma 7, that means its c is 7. So y equals 6x plus 7 is the simple answer. Alright, part D, find the equation of the line perpendicular to AB. So when two lines are perpendicular, the slopes are negative reciprocal of each other. Here the slope was 6 or 6 over 1. Negative reciprocal will be negative 1 over 6. Alright, and then find cy equals minus 1 over 6x plus c. And now to find c, I need a point on this line as well, which is 1 comma 5. So substitute 5 and 1 here, and let's see what do we get. So 5 equals minus 1 over 6, 1 plus c. So 5 plus 1 over 6 equals c, which becomes 31 over 6. So my equation for part D is y equals m x plus C. Now the question says to give the answer in this form, ax plus bx plus c. So I'll take 6 is the LCM, I'll move to the other side, this will become 6y, then let's take x to the other side plus x minus 31 equals 0. So this is the answer, just rearrange it a bit and we get this answer, x plus 6y minus 31 equals 0. Okay, this was question 16. Question 17, which says we have equation of line y is a is 5x minus 4, b is 3x plus 2y equals 18. Find the gradient of a. Let's find gradient of a first. So line a is y equals 5x minus 4, and we know y equals mx plus c. M is the coefficient of x, so m is 5 simply. For part 2 we need gradient of the second line, so let's make y the subject here. 2y equals minus 3x plus 18, then take 2 to the other side and divide it separately with both of these. So now m is minus 3 over 2. This is answer for A2. Okay, part B, write the coordinates where the point where the line A crosses the x-axis. So when any line is crossing the x-axis, notice that its y coordinate is 0. So simply substitute y equals to 0 in the equation of A, which is y equals 5x minus 4. So when y is 0, x is equals to 4 over 5. So 0 comma 4 over 5. Okay, sorry, x is 4 over 5 and y is 0, so 4 over 5 comma 0. Okay, part C, find the equation of line perpendicular to A which passes through 10 comma 9. Now I know the slope of A was 5, so the perpendicular slope will be minus 1 over 5, negative reciprocal, right? And then which part was this? Yes, C. So and also passes through 10 comma 9. So in the equation y equals minus 1 over 5x plus c, I'll substitute this point 10 comma 9. So y is 9 equals minus 1 over 5, 10 plus c, which makes c equals, this becomes minus 2 and 11. So the equation becomes y equals minus 1 over 5x plus 11. Okay, this was C. Now part D, work out the coordinates of the point of intersection of A and B. So point of intersection of A and B means we need to solve these simultaneously. So what I'll do is I'm doing part D of question 7. I have the equation y equals 5x minus 4 and I have the equation 3x plus 2y equals 18. Now 3x plus 2, y is 5x minus 4 equals 18. I've substituted this. In place of y, I've substituted 5x minus 4. This becomes 3x plus 10x minus 8 equals 18, which gives me 13x equals to 26, which gives me x equals to 2. Now substitute this here to get the value of y. So y equals 10 minus 4, which is 6. So the point of intersection of these two lines is x2 and y6, so 2 comma 6. Okay, part E, work out the area enclosed by the line A and line B and the y-axis. So I'll have to roughly sketch these lines. Y is equals to 5x minus 4 means m is 5, so plus 5, so it has to be a rising line, and c is minus 4, so it should cut minus 4 and should be a rising line, right? It should be a line like this. Next we have the line 3x plus 2y equals 18. When I make y the subject, I get minus 3 over 2x plus 9. So okay, so minus 4 should actually be below the x-axis. Let me fix this. minus 4 is here and the line is like this. Alright, and then uh, just a second, a rough sketch like this, and then this line has negative slope, which means it has to be a falling line, and its C is 9, so its y-intercept is 9 and it's a falling line. Also from the last part we know that this point is 2 comma 6, which means 2 is here and 6 is here, right? So I now need the area of this triangle. Work out the area enclosed by line A, line B and the y-axis, so it's the shaded region, which means I simply need area of this triangle, and area of triangle is half times base times height. So this is the base, and what is the length of this base? This is 9 and this is minus 4. Difference between 9 and minus 4 is 9 minus minus 4, so these are 13 units. So 13 units is this length. Next I need the height. So this is 0 here and this is 2 here. So the height is 2 minus 0, which is 2. So the area will simply be half times height times base, which is simply 13. So 13 is the answer for part E. Next up is question 21. Sorry, question 18. Question 18, if the marker would permit me to start writing. Yes, 18. So there is a point A, minus 2 comma 8. There is a point B, 0 comma 4. Find the equation of straight line joining A and B. So that's pretty simple. We find m first, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we get 4 over minus 2. Wait, I've probably made a mistake. This was minus 2 comma 0. So this is 0. We have 0 here. Minus 2 comma 0. Alright. So m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is minus 4 minus 2, which is 2. And C very clearly from here is 4. Or from here is 4, because point B is 0 comma 4. Okay. So y equals 2x plus 4 is the equation of the line for part 18a. 18b is find the equation of perpendicular bisector of AB. Now perpendicular bisector is a line which passes through this line and it cuts exactly at the center of AB. So, and also is perpendicular to AB. So first I need the center of AB. I know A is minus 2 comma 0, B is 0 comma 4. Not the center, center is not the right word, midpoint. So we're looking for the midpoint of AB, that would be minus 2 plus 0 over 2 comma 0 plus 4 over 2. So this would be minus 1 comma 2. So this is minus point minus 1 comma 2. Next I have to find the equation of this line. So I know that m for line AB was 2. Now m for the perpendicular line will be negative reciprocal of this, so minus 1 over 2. So y equals minus 1 over 2 x plus c. To find C, I need a point on this line which I know is minus 1 comma 2. So let's substitute these points. 2 equals minus 1 over 2 times minus 1 plus C. So C is 3 by 2 when I'll take the negative values to the other side. So the equation becomes y equals minus half x plus 3 over 2. This is answer for question 18b. Next up is question 19. A is the point 4 comma 1, B is the point 10 comma 15. Find the equation of perpendicular bisector of AB. So same question but now without the diagram. So perpendicular bisector of AB will be cutting the AB at exactly its center and it will be perpendicular to AB. So first let's find the center, which will be 4 plus 10 over 2 comma 1 plus 15 over 2. the midpoint. So this 14 over 2 is 7 and 16 over 2 is 8. So this point is 7 comma 8. Next I'll need the slope of the perpendicular line. For that I first need slope of AB. Slope of AB is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is 14 over 6, which becomes 7 over 3. So now the perpendicular slope will be negative reciprocal of this. So y equals minus 3 by 7x plus c, and we know that this perpendicular line passes through the point 7 comma 8. Let's substitute. 8 equals minus 3 over 7, 7 plus c, c equals 8, 9, 10, 11. So y equals minus 3 over 7x plus 11. Answer for question 19. Okay, question 20 is P is a point 16 comma 9, Q is a point 22 comma 24. Part A, find the equation of line perpendicular to PQ which passes through 5, 1. So first I need slope of this, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This gives me 15 over 6, which becomes 5 over 3, 5 over 2. So m perpendicular slope will be negative reciprocal of this, so minus 2 over 5. So y equals minus 2 over 5 x plus c. To find c, either substitute this combination of x, y or this one. I'll be using the first one. So 9 equals minus 2 over 5, x is 16 plus c. When you'll rearrange and find the value of c, I assume you'll get 3. Let me see if we get 3. So I'm in my calculator, I'll enter 9 plus fraction key 2 over 5 times 16. Alright, I've made a huge mistake. Why did I substitute these points, this point, or why would I be asking you to substitute these points in the equation? This perpendicular line is passing through 5 comma 1. So we'll be substituting 5 comma 1 instead. So y is 1 and x is 5 plus c. So this makes c equals 3. So the equation becomes y equals minus 2 over 5 x plus 3. This is the answer for 20 part A. Okay. Now 20 part B, which is n is a point on PQ. So we have the let me roughly plot PQ. We have 16 here and 9 here, and then we have 22 and 24 here. We have 22 and 24 here. So this is A and this is B. So n is a point on PQ such that so this was P and Q, not A and B. So P is 16 comma 9 and Q is 22 comma 24. Yes. Okay. So n is the point on PQ such that Pn equals 2nq, which means that Pn over nq equals 2 over 1. So this point will be somewhere further away from n, because this should have 2 parts, and then relatively closer to q, because nq will have 1 part. This is 2 ratio 1 because of the fraction 2 over 1. Alright, so what do we need to do? Find the coordinates of n. Now we need to find n. So let's see, I think all we need to do is apply some ratios. So what is this length? 16 to 22. That is 6 units, right? So let's break this into 2 by 1 parts. So using ratios, I'll say that 6 units is represented by ratio 3 because the total ratio is 2 plus 1, 3. Then 2 ratio is represented by how many parts? So 6 times 2 is 12 and 12 divided by 3 is 4, which means that 6 can be split into 4 and 2 if I am dividing this into ratio 2 ratio 1. So that means from uh, from P to N it will have 4 parts, and then further from N to Q it will have another 2 parts. So that means the x coordinate of N becomes 16 plus 4. So the x coordinate becomes 16 plus 4 simply. Then we'll check for the y coordinate after this. So now let's read this length. The rise here is from 9 to 24, which means 14 and 15 units. Now let's break 15 into ratio 2 ratio 1. So I don't even need to do any formal working, and I know that would be 10 and 5, right, when I split it into ratio 2 ratio 1, because this should have 2 parts and this should have 1 part, so that's 10 ratio 10 and 5, which means that from here till n the value is 10 and then the remaining value is 5. So to find the y coordinate of n, here the value is 9, take it 10 upwards, which becomes 19. So this becomes 9 plus 10. So our answer is 20 comma 19 for question 20 part B. Question 21. Is a straight line joins point A minus 2 comma minus 3 and C 1 comma 9. Find the equation of line AC in the form of y equals mx plus c. So simply find m first, y2 minus minus 3, y2 minus y1, so y 9 plus 3 over 1 plus 2, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this becomes 12 over 3, which becomes 4, and y equals 4x plus c. This is part A. So substitute any one of these. I'll substituting 9 and 1 to get to C. C equals 5. So y equals 4x plus 5 is answer for part A. Part B, calculate the acute angle between AC and the x-axis. So let me roughly plot point A is at minus 2 and minus 3. So here it is, and point A, and point B is at 1 and 9. So this is B. So we need the acute angle between the line and the x-axis. Okay, so the angle we're being asked to find is the acute angle between this line and the x-axis. So this angle. Now notice, if we have this length and this length, we can use tan theta to find the angle. Also, this length is the rise and this length is the run. So rise over run is actually m. So which means tan theta equals rise over run, which is equals to m. So tan theta equals to, we found m in the last part, which is equals to 4. So theta equals tan inverse 4, which gives 76.0 when I round it off to 1 decimal place. So I got my answer. All you need to do is equate tan theta to m whenever you've been asked to find the angle between a line and the x-axis. Alright, next up is part C, which says ABCD is a kite where AC is the longer diagonal of the kite. So we have a kite and AC is the longer diagonal of the kite, and B is 3.5 comma 2. So let me roughly plot a kite and they're saying that AC is the longer diagonal. So this is A, B, C, D. Alright. And B is 3.5 comma 2. So this is 3.5 comma 2. Am I recording? Yes, thank God. Okay. So next is find the equation of the line BD in the form y equals mx plus c. So we need the equation of this. So also in a kite we know that this makes a right angle. I think so. Yes, probably. Yes, so we already have the values for A and C. A was minus 2 comma minus 3 and C is 1 comma 9. Also, like I just said, in a kite, all these the diagonals intersect at 90 degree. So or in other words, the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. So now I need the equation for line DB. So MDB is actually perpendicular to MAC, and MAC was 4, which we found in part A. So MDB will be negative reciprocal of this. So minus 1 over 4. So the equation will be y equals minus 1 over 4 x plus c. Now we need a point on DB, and that's the point B, which is 2 which becomes 2 equals 1 over 4 times 3.5 plus c. So 2 minus 3.5 over 4 becomes c equals 1.125, which is 9 by 8. Okay, again I made a mistake. This was negative. This is negative, right? So 2 plus 3.5 over 4. 2 plus 3.5 over 4. 2 plus 3.5 over 4 is 2.875, which in fraction is 23 by 8. So C equals 23 over 8. So the equation becomes y equals m was minus 1 over 4x plus c was 23 over 8. Okay. Next up is part 2. The diagonals AC and BD intersect at minus 0.4 comma 3. Work out the coordinate of D. Okay, I've redrawn the figure, and also we're told that the diagonals intersect at minus 0.5 comma 3. So this is minus 0.5 comma 3. Okay, so now we need the coordinates of D. Notice that D and B's midpoint would be this value in red. So if D is x comma y, so I can write x plus 3.5 over 2 should be equals to minus 0.5, and y plus 2 over 2 should be equals to 3. So y becomes 6 minus 2, 4, and x becomes minus 0.5 times 2 is minus 1, and minus 1 minus 3.5 is minus 4.5. So we get these points. Minus 4.5, look at the answer is minus 4.5 comma 4. So minus 4.5 comma 4 are the coordinates for D. Okay, question number 22, just for you, Nile. Okay, question 22. The diagram shows a curve with equation x square over a square plus y square over b square equals to 1. A is a point 4 comma 0, b is a point 0 comma 2. Find the equation of straight line that passes through A and B. So that's pretty simple. For part A1, we have the equation y equals mx plus c. M is rise over run, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that becomes minus 1 over 2. So the equation will be y is equals to minus 1 over 2x plus, we already know c from here, which is 2. So plus 2. So this is the answer for part 1. Part A2. Okay, next part is part 2, A2. which says that um, show that a square equals 16 and b square equals to 4. So we have the equation, and we also know that these 2 points pass through the equation 4 comma 0 and 0 comma 2. Let's substitute these. Let's substitute x4 first. So 4 square over a square. When y is 0, this becomes 0 square over 0, which is 0. So cross multiply, we get 4 square equals a square. So a equals 4. No, in fact we're supposed to show a square. So a square equals 16 from here. 0 gets ignored, then a square goes to the other side. A square equals 4 square, so 4 square is 16. Now let's substitute this one in the same equation. So I will get 0 square over 16 plus 2 square over 4, sorry, 2 square over b square equals 1. Again this gets ignored, and b square equals 4, and this is what we were supposed to show here and here. Alright, now we're going to do part B, which is p is 2 comma k and q is 2 comma minus k. So this is 2 comma k and 2 comma minus k. Okay, are the points on the curve. Find the value of k. So to find k, we can simply substitute these values in the equation. X is 2, so I'll enter 4. 2 square becomes 4 over 16. I'm entering the value in this equation, plus k square over 4 equals 1. So this becomes, let's take the LCM. So 4 plus 4 k square over 16 goes to the other side, gets multiplied. So 4 k square equals 12. K square equals 3. So k equals under root 3, or you may also write plus minus under root 3. So k equals this. Find the angle POQ. So now we need this angle. Also we know that I can find half of the angle and then multiply it with 2 to get the whole angle. Now to find half of the angle, I need this height. This goes from 0 to k, and k is under root 3. So height is under root, or the perpendicular is under root 3, and this goes from 0 to 2. So this is 2. So I'll use tan theta for B2. I'll use tan theta is equals to perpendicular over base. This will give me tan inverse of tan inverse fraction key under root 3 over 2 gives me 40.89. So theta equals 40.89. Now I'll multiply it with 2 to get POQ angle. 2 times my answer in the calculator, which gives me 81.8 rounded off to 1 decimal place. Okay, next up is part C, which is the area enclosed by a curve with this equation is pi AB. Find the area enclosed by this equation. Alright, so let's write this equation in the form of this equation. So we have x square over 4 square plus y square over 2 square equals 1, and we know the equation area is pi times a is now 4 and b is now 2. So 8 pi is the answer for C1. C2, A curve mathematically similar to the one in the diagram intersects x-axis at 12, 0 and minus 12, 0. So we have another curve that now intersects the x-axis at 12 and minus 12. So this is 12 and this is minus 12 right here. Alright, so next is uh, work out the area enclosed by this curve, giving your answer as multiples of pi. Alright. Okay, so we you might not have done this chapter yet, which is on similarity and congruency. It has a formula a1 over a2 equals L1 over L2 whole square for similar figures. So A1, the area of the first figure was 8 pi, right? Yes, 8 pi was the area. So 8 pi was the area of this graph, and we need the area of the new similar graph over, let's call this the figure 2. So over a2 we need a2 in terms of pi equals length 1 over length 2. So if this length is 4 and this corresponding length is 12, we take whole square. So now a2 equals 8 pi times 12 square over 4 square, which gives 72 pi. So area for the second figure is 72 pi using the formula area of similar figures, which is a1 over a2 is equals to L1 over L2 whole square. Alright, we're done with this worksheet. I'll see you next time. Take care.